My morning rail fanning around Romulus started with a bang, with Norfolk Southern Local Train B73 returning back to Oakwood Yard. B73 is a local that switches industries up and down the Wabash Line. Leading B73 today is Norfolk Southern SD40-2, number 3335, sporting a perfect RS3L horn. I thought this train was chaseable. However, a semi-truck stopping in the middle of the road for 45 seconds kind of screwed up my chances of getting it anywhere else. I managed to beat it with about 15 seconds to spare to Inkster Road. After that, I started making my way down to New Boston to see if anything was happening at TDSI. That's when I heard CSX M510 calling the signal at Pennsylvania Road with a -8 liter. I took a chance on this crossing, Grant Street. I made it with 45 seconds to spare. M510 is daily manifest loads out of Cincinnati, Ohio's Queensgate Yard for Detroit. M510 also switches around Walbridge Yard near Toledo. Earlier that morning, while I was driving to Romulus, I found a former Grand Trunk Western GP9 sitting on the overpass at Greenfield Road, switching around CN Schaefer Yard. And when I drove by the yard, I was stunned to see a sight like this. A 1970s-era Y-pattern signal protecting the diamond between the CN and Conrail at Schaefer. I then moved on to Oakwood Yard and caught a brief look of a NS SD40-2 pulling a cut of mixed freight cars out of the yard, and saw the reverse move on the other side of the yard. If you've seen the CP Holiday train in Detroit before, you'll certainly recognize this location. We're in the parking lot of Thunderbolt Lanes in Allen Park. I stuck around and saw a former Norfolk and Western High Hood SD40-2 pull out of the yard. These units are just EMD SD40-2s with high hoods. The N&W and the Southern, the railroads that created the modern-day NS we know, were both notorious for having locomotives with high hoods. The Southern even had some -7 locomotives with high noses. NS doesn't keep many high hood SD40-2s on the roster. In fact, I believe it's below 10. So to see one of these, especially in Michigan, is always a treat. Back to Romulus we go, as NS 188 was coming up on town. 188 is a daily manifest from East Point, Georgia to Oakwood Yard in Detroit. One thing that I found really interesting about 188 was that today, 188, known to be a very sizable train, was no longer than about 7,000 feet long. This was due to a corporate decision made by the higher-ups at NS to limit all trains to a maximum of 10,000 feet in length. This decision comes after two major derailments: the East Palestine, Ohio derailment, which the railroad is under intense scrutiny for, and the Springfield, Ohio derailment. Both trains in these derailments were over 10,000 feet long. I then eventually made my way down to TDSI, where a CSX Autorack train was sitting. This is unfortunately the only footage we'll see of it, though. I lost all of the footage I got of it. In Romulus, Michigan, This is Michigan Railfan Films, signing off.